Whether it's basketball, football,
You route.
or baseball, whatever you're into when it comes to sports, you can find it right here. Now, play my intro.
Now welcome to the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Had a couple things going on. Welcome to the Robb Johnson Sports Show. Another episode here of Robb Johnson Sports Show here on Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. I'm glad you guys are here with me today. Welcome to NCAA 25 day here on the show. So here's the thing we want to talk about first. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. I put up a post earlier saying that Skip Bayless would take Jalen Hurts any day of the week over Dak Prescott. Okay. Everyone knows I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, grew up in one, etc. But I am not biased. But folks, let's get to the facts here. Let's get to the facts, okay? Because 2 years ago, and I'm pissed about this, all I heard about was Dak only threw 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, blah, blah, blah. Let's go through the numbers, folks. Last year, Jalen Hurts, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Dak Prescott, 36 touchdowns, nearly 40 touchdowns and 9 receptions. And you're going to take Jalen Hurts over this guy? Are you kidding me? Is that really what we're doing here? Listen, are some of you so biased against the Dallas Cowboys? You know, some of you can't even make content about the Dallas Cowboys. I barely talk about the Dallas Cowboys on the Robb Johnson Sports Show. I got Cowboy Talk with Robb Johnson that I usually will do. I haven't done, about 2 months? I'm going to bring it back in August. But some of you are so obsessed with the Cowboys because, quite frankly, you have no other topics. You have nothing else to talk about. That's all you can talk about. That's the only knowledge of sports some of you really have. But we're not going to go there. I'm not going to insult anybody today. ESPN, people on the socials, etc. I'm not gonna disrespect you. But the overall question is, where will Dak Prescott play in 2025? I've been on record, no disrespect to Micah Parsons, but I would trade him for a Herschel Walker type deal. The reason I say that, when did the Cowboys really start becoming the Dallas Cowboys again? Now, Jimmy Johnson's not there. We understand that. We now know that Jimmy Johnson is in a little bit of an advisory role. We understand that. But when did the Dallas Cowboys become the Cowboys again? They became the Cowboys when they got multiple players. When they were able to trade Herschel Walker away and got that boatload. Think about who they got. An Emmitt Smith, Woodson, a lot of key players. I believe with Moose Johnson. I believe I think that he came in on. I don't think he was actually drafted by the Cowboys, but they got a boatload of players. They were able to get the compensation from Herschel Walker, who did come back to Dallas. A decade later, they won 3 championships off of that. And if I'm the Cowboys, what I'm looking at is next year, your cap number is going to be a lot lower than it is this year. You have an opportunity to sign more players. Now, they should have signed Dak earlier on. I understand the hesitation. They have not won in the playoffs. They've not got to the NFC Championship game. I completely understand that. So, the question at hand for the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL in general, where will Dak Prescott go next year in the NFL 2025 season? Well, I have the numbers right here, and I have the teams who have the cap space. So right here, I have cap space for the NFL cap space. If I can bring it back up, I lost it for some reason. Let me bring you guys a little bit closer in here so you can see me a little bit closer. There we go. We can get the belt right there, get the crown. Robb Johnson Media. Make sure you check out Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. So let's go to next year's cap space. Let's go down. Let's go through the teams. Let's literally go through the teams. Okay. So these are the teams next year who have the most. We'll go from the least cap space to the most. And for some reason, this one isn't working. We'll go here. Sometimes these cap space things, man, will be very, very slope. So we're going to go to 2025. We're going to go down to the teams who have no chance because they have the least amount of money. Next year is projected the Saints are going to be $88 million over the cap. So let's go from all the teams to the bottom to the top. So we're looking at the Saints, the Browns, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Texans, the Bills, and the Ravens. All those teams are going to be over the cap. And if you're looking at any of those teams are going to require a quarterback unless Brock Purdy falls off a complete cliff, which I know he's not because Brock Purdy, all that talk about being Mr. Irrelevant and all that crap, you can kill that. Brock Purdy's a really decent, he's a good quarterback. He's a decent quarterback. It was not his fault, in my opinion. They lost the Super Bowl. It was more about Kyle Shanahan and his decision-making. They should have given Kansas City the ball first and then taken the ball. I believe they would have won the game. So, again, you look at the Saints, the Browns, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, Texans, Bills, and Ravens. They are all over the cap next year. What amount of those teams who are over the cap are going to need a quarterback next year? If you ask me, if you say the Saints, I cannot agree with you because who knows how Derek Carr is going to do this year. Plus, you got a young Spencer Rattler who I think is going to be a good NFL quarterback. You look at the Seahawks. What's going to happen with Geno Smith? We don't know. Would the Seahawks be able to afford Dak Prescott in 2025? I do not think so. They would have to go through more of the draft, in my opinion. Then you go to a team like the Dolphins. Now, I say the Dolphins because are they going to treat Tua right? Tua didn't even make the top 10 list in the NFL. I think a lot of people think that Tua is an overrated player, which I don't think. I think that he does a lot of good things for the Miami Dolphins. I just think the Dolphins are a cursed franchise, folks. They ain't won a playoff game since, 2000? Early 2000s? They're just a cursed franchise. And, like I said, there's no offense to him. It's no offense to anybody out there, but they're just a cursed franchise, as we see the graphic for Dak Prescott behind the Robb Johnson Media logo. We're talking about the teams that Dak could potentially go to. Now we go out of the cellar of the teams who don't have any money to the teams who have money. You look at the Falcons. They have quarterbacks. The Eagles, no chance. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. The Colts have Anthony Richardson. You look at the Panthers. Now, we have seen, folks, that the Panthers, since Mr. Richardson has left as owner, they are one of the more dysfunctional franchises in the NFL and hell, all of sports. Could the Carolina Panthers, who just drafted Bryce Young, could they make the irrational decision? We're going to go get Dak Prescott and we're going to pay him a bunch of money. I could see the Carolina Panthers doing something stupid like that. I could see the Carolina Panthers already giving up on a guy like Bryce Young. But let's hope they don't, but I could see it. The New York Giants, next year they have $22 million in cap space. And who knows what's going to happen with Daniel Jones? We don't know what's going to happen with Daniel Jones. This is where things start getting very interesting. It would be very telling for Dak Prescott to want to get revenge on the Dallas Cowboys by going to the Giants. Now, mind you, they got Malik Neighbors. They got the young receiver out of Tennessee last year who's a speedster. They have decent weapons. I think they're going to continue to improve their roster. This Giants team, not this year, but going to next year, is going to be very interesting. We just talked about Drew Lock. We just talked about Daniel Jones. What are they going to do? Is Drew Lock going to take the job? If you look at those two guys, they're more bridging quarterbacks. They're not quarterbacks who are going to take you and win you championships. Even though I'm a fan of Drew Lock now that he's matured. And I'm a fan of Daniel Jones, even though I'm a fan of Daniel Jones, guys. I mean, he's a very good athlete. He's a guy that's put a lot of heart and his soul into this game. Even though he's had his bad moments, he tries, man. And they've been literally almost killing that guy when it comes to him dropping back because the line has been so bad. I think a change of scenery for a guy like Daniel Jones is critical. And I've been saying it now for years. I never would have paid him. I would have let him walk and let him do something else because the Giants just is not a good place for him. Would Dak work in New York? I can give you that one. So I can say yes. Dak Prescott would potentially work in New York for the New York Giants. So let's go up the list. Right next to them with $24 million in cap space. Almost, they're not over the 24,500,000 mark. So if you round it up, if you pay attention to school, round it about, they got about 24 million. The Las Vegas Raiders. Now you want to talk about a situation that is intriguing. You want to okay? You just draft the tight end out of Georgia. Very good tight end, one of the best in the nation. Could be one of the better tight ends we see next couple of years. Here's the kicker, though. If you're Dak Prescott, what's the thing about the Raiders that really excites you? If you're Dak Prescott, if you're Dak Prescott, you know what excites you? You got Devontae Smith. You got a strong running game, even though they just lost their lead rusher. You have a strong running game, but here's the better thing: that Raiders defense is going to be very good. And you put together the combination of Devontae Adams, you got Brock Bowers, and you have that defense out there. And here's the thing: if you're Dak as well, and it's a little bit of an ego thing. And it's like that. It's like Russell Wilson when he went to the Denver Broncos. You get to face Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Do not think that facing Patrick Mahomes twice a year and proving that you are on his level, because we all know he's not on his level, but if he plays him twice a year, he beats him, he gets the Raiders to a division championship, guys, come on now. That could be something. And you look at the running backs. You got Zamir White, Alexander Madison. And let me tell you guys something about Madison. Madison is a guy, in my opinion, who, if you look at it, he didn't have the best situation in Minnesota. You even look at a guy like Zamir White. I think White can improve his stats. Last year, 104 carries, 451 yards, 1 touchdown. That will improve once you get a good quarterback into your system. I believe that the Las Vegas Raiders, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Las Vegas Raiders, if I could put any team above the Giants, will go to my number one right now. We're still going to get to the other teams, but I think the Raiders in 2025, because again, Gardner Minshew, he is a bridge quarterback. He's not the type of quarterback that you're going to have long term. Look at it. Look what he did. He was in Philadelphia. He was the bridge quarterback when Jalen Hurts got hurt. He was in Indianapolis, a drop pass away from the division. He was, and that's why I keep warning people about the Texans. Be careful. They won 10 games last year, but the Colts, frankly, in my opinion, gave them that game. Don't get me wrong. C.J. Stroud had a great game. They won the playoff game, but the Colts were a drop pass away. That Colts team, by the way, is going to be very dangerous this upcoming season. So let's go to some more teams here, right? We go to the Buccaneers. Okay, Baker Mayfield, I'm not in love with the contract. I know what happens when Baker Mayfield gets paid. But who knows what's going to happen after this year? Let's say the Buccaneers, who have, 25 million, almost 26 million in cap space. What happens if he struggles? You don't know. We've seen quarterbacks get big contracts before and they get let go next year. And it's only like a $100 million contract, and not all of it is guaranteed. So we'll definitely see how that goes. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they already have paid their quarterback. The Tennessee Titans, are you in love with your quarterback? That's the question. If you're the Tennessee Titans, are you in love with your quarterback? Are you in love with Will Levis? That is a very talented Titans team. And with what? 27, almost $28 million in cap space? Could you imagine Dak Prescott in Tennessee? And that, I'm not going to call it the weak AFC South, but the AFC South can be had. It can be had if you have the right quarterback. And then think about that. You'd have what? C.J. Stroud. You have C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence in that same division, and you have Dak Prescott and Anthony Richardson. That is an all-star lineup right there. I like that. Now we go to the Rams. Now, listen, folks, this right here is another very intriguing team. We don't know. Let me say this about Matthew Stafford. Stafford is one of those guys that I have gained respect for over the years because of everything that he has accomplished in the National Football League. What he went through at Georgia, what he went through in the league, going through injuries, playing hurt, not making excuses, doing what he had to do. I said for a long time he was overrated. And at that time, folks, he was, because he did a lot of things in Detroit where he had weapons in Detroit, but he couldn't get it done. He comes to LA, does a really good job in the playoffs, wins a Super Bowl. But let's just be honest, he was overrated, folks, at times. And that is just the bottom line. He was overrated at times. But he's done a really good job in LA, but we know things are coming to an end. The Rams have $34 million in cap space, and they got receivers. They got weapons. They got nuclear weapons that are ready to launch. When you talk about Cooper Kupp, when you talk about Puka, these guys, and they got a tight end, they got a decent running game. That defense is going to continue to get better. And you got to think about the West. The 49ers after this year, I've already given you the number. The 49ers are in cap hell next year. $38,915,000. What was it? That's the exact number. Yeah. It's clearly, if you want to really round it out, it's nearly $39 million in cap space next year. $39 million that they're behind in cap space next year if you're the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are going to be rebuilding. You know the Cardinals are going to be better. And you know the Seahawks are probably going to be rebuilding a little bit if they got to bring in another quarterback. If they get a Dak, that's a difference. But if they got to bring in a rookie, or if they're going to continue on this cycle they're on, the Seahawks aren't going to be – they're not going to be a juggernaut. They're going to be tough to beat, but they're not going to be a juggernaut. So, again, if you're the Rams, you have all those weapons. This is a young team. You got Sean McVay. He would do wonders with Dak Prescott. The Rams made the playoffs last year. Damn near beat the Detroit Lions. If not for a few calls and a few other miscues, they would have beaten the Detroit Lions. The same Lions team who was 2 quarters away from beating the San Francisco 49ers. Folks, this Rams team is going to be good. I had the discussion with the playmaker, Darnell Stallings. We had the discussion, and he convinced me. He convinced me that the Rams are going to be a problem. If not this year, for the years to come, especially if they can get a guy like Dak Prescott, because I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to be there much longer. His body's taking too much punishment. Matthew Stafford has nothing to prove anymore. He beat Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. The man has done his job. So let's go to the next team, the Denver Broncos. I don't see it. I think Bo Nix is going to be the quarterback there for in the future. I know people are hoping, and if I'm Dak, I do not go to Denver, especially after the Russell Wilson fiasco. I kind of shun at Denver. I don't worry about Denver. The Cincinnati Bengals, no, because first of all, they need to build that team up next year to make sure they're protecting Joe Burrow and getting him more weapons. The Chargers, no, but I will say this about the Chargers: they got $42 million in cap space next year. If Justin Herbert struggles this year, I'm telling you right now, do not be shocked if Jim Harbaugh does something crazy. That's all I'm going to say. Do not be shocked if Harbaugh does something crazy. That's all I'm going to say. He better not struggle this year. The Lions, no. Packers, no. Listen to me. Listen to me. I did not agree with that draft pick they had out of Michigan. The young man comes out of Michigan. I did not agree with that pick. The Vikings got $54 million. Let me tell you something. If the Vikings, with those weapons and Jordan Addison, let me say, sir, young man, get yourself well. I know you had the DUI arrest. Prayers to you. If you're going through something, brother, God bless you. Hope everything goes well with you. I know you just lost a teammate or whatnot. Just praying for you, brother. Praying for you. If the Vikings can, unequivocally, if they look at their situation and they figure to themselves, we made a mistake with drafting this young man out of Michigan, they got $54 million in cap space next year. You don't think Dak Prescott with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison wouldn't be a scary combination? You must be out your damn mind if you don't think so. Dak Prescott's only be 32 next year. You're out your damn mind if you don't think that. Now, I think he'll be 33, but I'll check his age. But I think Dak's only like 30, 31 right now. Here's another intriguing team. The New York Jets. How much longer is Aaron Rodgers going to be there? This is going to be a very telling year to see what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. If Rodgers gets hurt or if Rodgers doesn't perform up to his standards, I can almost guarantee you 2 things. Number 1, it's going to be a new coach. And number 2, it's going to be a new quarterback. I would not get rid of the possibility of Bill Belichick being in a Jets head coach position next year. I wouldn't rule out a lot of different players. I'm sorry, a lot of different coaches. But there is a possibility that the Jets do not get done what the Jets are supposed to get done. It's a great possibility that you have a new coach and a new quarterback in there next year easily. Dak Prescott in New York, in that division, the AFC East, where you got the Patriots, you got the Dolphins, and you got the Buffalo Bills. It's a real possibility, folks. The Bears know they got their quarterback in the future. The Cowboys, here's the team he can resign with. They have how much money next year? $64 million in cap space. This is what I'm saying. You can get Dak done, and you can get CeeDee Lamb, but their defense needs to continue to get bigger and better. For me, as far as drafting, next year they're definitely going to need another receiver, and they're going to need probably another linebacker and another rush in or another defensive tackle. So I definitely think that if you can somehow get a king's ransom, I'm talking king's ransom for Michael Parsons. Now, if Michael Parsons comes out this year and he's got 20 plus sacks, and he's actually improved on stopping the run, I say keep him. But if he does, like my father said today, we were having a conversation. Me, my father, and my brother were having a conversation about the Dallas Cowboys and Michael Parsons. When does Michael Parsons show up for the big moments? I really want somebody in the comments to tell me. When does Michael Parsons show up for the big moments? You may say, when does Dak show up? Well, Dak beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. And I know it's Tampa, but if he had lost, the next thing you guys would have said was, well, damn, he got beat by an old quarterback. But, there's, like I said, there's too many biases, too many excuses when it comes to Dallas Cowboys. So I get it. I understand it. But if you look at that situation, you sign CeeDee Lamb for sure. He's one of your better players. You sign Dak, and if Micah doesn't have a good season or up to the expectations season, he has to be better than good. He has to be better than great. Because if you get the Lawrence Taylor comparison, you damn sure better produce. So if you get rid of Michael Parsons, trade him, you don't have to take that hit. Guess what? You've already signed Diggs. You've already signed your other players. You get those two offensive stars signed, and then you build your defense up. Again, just like they did back in the day. So next team, we have the Commanders, $71 million. They got their quarterback in the future. The Pittsburgh Steelers, $77 million. Very intriguing. Even though I think Russell Wilson is going to have a heck of a year, it's very, very intriguing. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Dak Prescott going from the Cowboys to the Steelers. Do you know how much and they play week 5, I believe, in Pittsburgh. Imagine if Dak goes there and lights up the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which I personally don't think he will, because that defense in Pittsburgh is legit. Let's say he does well in Russell Wilson or Justin, just for the argument's sake, Justin Fields, who might be playing, who I don't see, because Russell Wilson is the number one player in that organization right now. Not Justin Fields. He has too many accomplishments. He's got all the touchdowns, all the yards, the Super Bowl championship. There should be no discussion of him starting over Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has a new start. That team is talented on the offensive and defensive side. I could see if it doesn't work out with those quarterbacks, Dak Prescott in Pittsburgh could work. Patriots, they got $84 million in cap space. I don't think so, because I think they're just going to try to roll with Drake May. I think that he is there. I think that they want him to work. So you can forget that. Arizona Cardinals, they got the most cap space, $88 million. They got Kyler Murray. That's not going to work. So if I have to go through my list again, folks, and I have to tell you who are my top 3 teams I think Dak could potentially go to. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm actually Dallas Cowboys, not yet. Top 3 teams, the Giants, I would say the Rams, especially Matthew Stafford, and number 1, Dallas Cowboys. I just think that at this point, folks, when we look at everything, when we analyze everything, if you're Jerry Jones, where are you going to go? The only thing I can think of is if he got the two-piece special. And you know what I'm talking about. The Cowboys struggle this year, or they don't win as many games, and Jerry trades up, and guess what he does? He brings in Shador. He brings in Coach Prime. Because Coach Prime can say what he wants to say. If he gets the opportunity to coach the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to take it. Do not lie to yourself. Do not say, don't ever say ever, I will never coach in the pros. Didn't we just have a baseball coach from Texas A&M basically say, I would never leave this team, and I love my team? 5 minutes after, 5 or 10 minutes after the national championship game, they lose. What happens? He goes to Texas. Listen, when the right amount of money is put in place and the right amount of power is put in place, please believe people are going to go do those things. So, folks, let's get to our next topic. It's here, college football 25. And I want to hear from you all. What are your memories? What are your memories about college football? I can tell you guys this. I started playing around 2000, maybe 1990, about 99 and 2000. I used to play Madden. Madden 06 was probably my favorite. Madden 06, Madden 07, and I'm not Madden. I'm sorry. NCAA football 2001, 2002, 06, and 2008. I really didn't play. I played a little bit 11, but I didn't really play 14 too much. But my memories of NCAA football is this: creating players, taking the worst team, creating a dynasty. And by the way, me and Larry Patterson, Game Time Sports Network, this Sunday night, we have a question up. If you could only choose 3 video games all time, 2 of them have to go. 05 Madden, what is it? Was it 06 NCAA football or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? One of them got to go. So that's my question for this Saturday night with me and Larry Patterson when we do the Robb Johnson Sports Show episode 66. So here's the other thing I want to ask you all, folks. What is your favorite NCAA game of all time, NCAA football game of all time, and what is your best memories? Like, I remember when I was younger, me and my little brother, we played a game, and that's how we really bonded, man. We really bonded by playing the game, by, doing certain dynasties. I remember, like, who are your favorite dynasties? Like, I remember certain teams. Like, I remember back in the day, I would do William and Mary. I did Norfolk State. I would always create, and I would always create myself as like a quarterback, receiver, or cornerback. Those are my favorite positions: quarterback, receiver, and cornerback. Receiver, cornerback, and quarterback. Those are my favorite positions. Now, there were times I did the defensive end, and as everybody knows, especially I believe it was like 07, stuff like that. When you played it on PlayStation, when it was on PS2, man, it was so easy to get to the quarterback. You put your ratings all the way up. You created super teams. And one thing about me, I always only created players who I knew could play football or play the game of any sorts. So that was my favorite memory of back then of NCAA football. I used to love that game. I used to love everything that came with it. So that's my memory. And like I said, man, happy NCAA football 25 day. Happy NCAA football 25 day. Now, here's a disclaimer. Do not lose your relationship. Don't lose your marriage. Don't lose your job over this damn game. Do not lose your life over this damn game. Please don't do that. I truly, truly beg of you. Now, folks, let's get real quick into the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby, and we'll get into the standings because, as you know, we are in the All-Star break. Let's talk about real quick the people who are in the All-Star game tonight. So we have Travis Pizzana. I'm sorry. This is the MLB. Well, before I get to that, let me just tell you guys the MLB draft was last night. I'm going to get into more of that on episode 65. That will probably be either Wednesday or Thursday, so we'll get into that. But let's get into the Home Run Derby let me see if I can bring that back up. And my question to you guys is Pete Alonso going to win? Is he going to win it again? Is Pete Alonso going to come back tonight and win the Home Run Derby? I'm actually looking at Witt Jr. from Kansas City. I think that he is going to win. I think that the Kansas City Royals have done such a great job this year. And I got to give love to Larry Patterson once again, man, because he said that the daggone Kansas City Royals were going to come out and they were going to do some special things. And what have the Kansas City Royals done? They've come out, they've done some special things, and I really believe that they're going to continue to play well. But let's talk about the participants. We got Pete Alonso from the New York Mets, the surprise New York Mets, who are playing really good baseball. We got Alec Bohm from the Phillies, who the Phillies are first place. They're playing great baseball. Adolis Garcia, who I'm a big fan of from Texas. Gunnar Henderson from the Baltimore Orioles, who lead the Yankees at the break. but the Boston Red Sox are getting closer. Cesar Hernandez from the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are a little bit of a losing streak right now. Marcell Ozuna from the Atlanta Braves, he's had to step up, especially after Acuna got hurt. That torn ACL, prayers out to Acuna, but Marcell Ozuna has really kept the Braves afloat. He's in the MVP talk. He's not going to win, but definitely if the Braves can finish the season strong, he'll be there. This is the guy I can't wait to see, folks. Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Guardians. He is a star. He is a guy that's going to continue to make the MLB look good. And the whole Ramirez name, of course, he's not related to Ramirez, who used to play for the Red Sox and play for the Cleveland Indians back in the day. But just when you come through Cleveland and you have the Ramirez name, and you think about Manny Ramirez, and you think about what Manny did for baseball, how exciting Manny was, you could only hope that Jose is just as exciting and has the same qualities. Not some of the things that Manny used to do, but you would hope that Jose is just as exciting long-term as Manny Ramirez was. I tell you, we were lucky in that era to get a guy like Manny Ramirez. It's just a shame he did not win a championship in Cleveland. Hopefully Jose can do that. Then we have Bobby Witt Jr. from the Kansas City Royals. I think that tonight, folks, for the people who do not know Bobby Witt Jr., I really think they're going to get an introduction to one of the best players in Major League Baseball, Bobby Witt Jr., who just signed a contract in the offseason with the Kansas City Royals. I'm a huge fan of his. I think that he's going to continue to do great things. Being in his position of shortstop and being able to hit for power, hit the RBI, stealing bases, I think that he is really good for the game. And I think America, the casual fan who is not used to him, is going to get used to him tonight. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this guy. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I really think that he's going to show some. I think he's going to do some good things tonight. Okay, so let's go to the last segment, folks. Let's go to how we feel. And this will be the last segment. Oh, before we do that, let me give you guys a quick commercial break. This is for Latour's, a sportswear clothing line. Make sure you guys check this out. Hey guys, this is Robb Johnson from Robb Johnson Media. I just want to let you guys know Latour's, one of the best brands out there for activewear. No matter if you're hiking, running, playing golf, playing tennis, it doesn't matter what you're doing. When you have on this right here, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, you feel good and your performance will be great. Latour's, check it out today at latour's.com. All right, folks. In this Tell the World How You Feel segment, I just want to say this. It doesn't have to be involved. Sports can involve anything. We have got to cut down on the division in this country. This country has been divided for a long time, and I don't think it's going anywhere. But when you just see things like you see the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, and you see everybody, you see the divide. And there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, folks. We can all disagree. But when you see the stuff that's spewed, and then you look at Caitlin Clark, and people are literally divided, black versus white. I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this like 1994 with O.J. Simpson again? I mean, what is going on out here? And speaking of Caitlin Clark, she's a really good basketball player. It's okay to criticize her, I promise you. It is okay to criticize her. She turns the ball over like no one else. I believe the next player is 50 off? But my bigger problem with the situation is players like Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston is a young lady who won a championship in South Carolina. Every time she plays well, they win. But she never gets the credit that she deserves. And that's because people have this infatuation with the fact that Caitlin Clark, she's made WNBA this and WNBA that, and we get it. But folks, it's not really Caitlin Clark. Stop blaming Caitlin Clark for all this. It's not her fault. It's our fault. It's the media's fault. Because here's a secret, folks. Ratings matter. News matters. Controversy matters. You may not like it, but controversy matters. You see, folks, when people sit back in these newsrooms and they're creating stories, they don't care about, I'm not saying me because I do care. My publication, I work for the NKCC News, we care. But there are some of these national media companies, they understand that, there are a few bad shows or a few bad ratings away from being shut down. Just like that. You see canceled shows all the time. You see, look at business in America right now. Look how many places are shutting down because they can't make enough money. They can't get ends meet. They're going through bankruptcy. Folks, people are going to do whatever they can do to keep afloat, to keep the lights on, to make sure that the money's flowing in. Because what you all have to understand is, no matter how much we want the world to be good, unfortunately, when it comes to making money, when it comes to ratings, when it comes to business, nothing is ever that simple. But what we can do in the meantime is we can talk to each other. We can try to have understanding. We can stop being so damn angry. Why is everybody so damn angry now? I get it. But everybody's so damn angry. Everybody's so divisive, man. Everybody just needs to chill. Just chill. You don't always have, it doesn't always have to be a problem. We got enough people walking around out here who got mental issues and they're not in the right state of minds. They got stuff going on. We got people out here doing drugs, the alcohol, the chemicals in the food is throwing people's they're throwing their mind balances off. Folks, we gotta chill. We gotta chill out here. Because what you all don't understand, and again, this is a sports show, but when I tell the world how I feel, it's any topic. What you all have to understand is, this is a borrowed life. Ain't nothing guaranteed. It is 5:05 p.m. on the East Coast. My life could be over in 5 minutes. Your life could be over in 5-10 minutes. You got to start enjoying out here. I'm not saying, folks, that you're not supposed to take life seriously. You take life seriously, but you got to have a balance. You got to start understanding what's real and what's not real. You got to understand what comes with this life. And what this life is a borrowed life. You got to start making better decisions. We all make bad decisions. I'm not sitting here acting like I'm holding them down because I am not. And I have a lot to improve on. But what I will say is that I try to make the best decisions I can. And the most important thing in this lifetime is two things: taking care of yourself and your freedom. Don't let nobody take your freedom away. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you're struggling, no matter what you're going through, you can always pick yourself back up some way, somehow. But if you lose your freedom, it's gone just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching the Robb Johnson Sports Show, episode 64. 65 will be back on probably Wednesday. And then remember, Gold Standard Wrestling tonight at 11:45 p.m. Thanks for watching the Robb Johnson Sports Show. And make sure you check out episode 65 on Wednesday and episode 66 at 8:40 p.m. at 8:40 p.m. on Sunday. And on Wednesday, we'll be going live at, again, 4 p.m. You all have a great day. And we'll have a quick word here from Latoris, and then we'll give you the outro. Hey guys, this is Robb Johnson from Robb Johnson Media. I just want to let you guys know, Latoris, one of the best brands out there for activewear. No matter if you're hiking, running, playing golf, playing tennis, it doesn't matter what you're doing. When you have on this right here, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, you feel good and your performance will be great. Latoris, check it out today at latoris.com.
It's caught in the crossfire.